Okay, so I haven't eaten any meat in about a month, and I'm starting to feel a lot lighter and connected, more clear. My head's awful clear. It's been really clear lately, and I've been able to, I think, raise my vibrations a little bit from the being chased, and then not eating the meat. But this picture of this lady here is Tori Amos, and I have to tell you the backstory about Tori Amos to get to the part where it's really weird. It's like her songs are manifesting my reality. They even manifested Robin. She sings about Robin. She says Robin's name. She says both Robin's names, his first and last name, in her songs. But there's even something that's even more that I need to know about, but I'll get to that later. I need to know, but I need to ask Robin a question. But I started listening to her when I was 15 years old, and I don't know how I started listening to her. I think I heard her on the radio because she was really popular. Tori Amos was in the early 90s in Seattle when the grunge genre was popular. And her first 3 albums were really popular, and that was Little Earthquakes, Under the Pink, and Boys for Pele. And they played her on the radio on like alternatives channels. And I must have heard it on the radio and remembered her name and was able to tell my mom because I remember asking my mom to buy me her CD, Boys for Pele, which was the third of the first 3, the big ones. And for Christmas. And so we didn't have computers. Well, we had computers, but we didn't really have internet much, and we didn't have phones. So I must have been able to remember her name. And the cover of Boys for Pele CD is her sitting on the front of a porch of an old house in a rocking chair with a blanket around her, holding a shotgun, and suckling a pig on her titty. And my mama saw the front of that, and she thought that she's like, oh, she's horrible. But my mom always bought me whatever I wanted. Like, I think subconsciously my mom felt bad because she chose her career over me. She didn't stay home and raise me, and so she would just buy me whatever I wanted. And so she bought the CD for me. And I started listening to it. I loved it so much that I wanted the first CD, The Little Earthquakes, and I asked for Under the Pink too, the second one. And my mom started listening to her, and my mom really liked her. My mom started liking her a lot. My mom started buying her CDs for herself, and she took me to 3 of her concerts. This is a program from one of the concerts. There's a reason I have this, though, because it's about the question I need to ask Robin. So, my mom spent thousands of dollars on stuff. I had so many imported CDs. I had all of her CDs, all of her merchandise, like tapes, shirts, like VHS tapes. So I did, and I had her unauthorized biography, and she was, okay, so the thing about her is, why I feel so connected to her is, I was only 15, and I don't know why I liked her music. I didn't really understand the lyrics, and I hadn't lived long enough to really get the depth of them, so I chalked them up to the shallow meaning like everybody else has, like it's about a boy, or I thought, well, maybe her lyrics are abstract, so you could just take what you want to out of it, but they're not abstract at all. They're very specific, now that I know. But I stopped listening to her when I was about 22, something like that, probably, because I started getting into hard drugs like crack and stuff, and I wasn't listening to music anymore. I started to kill my, spirit off there, that spirit off. And well, the neat thing about her and me, the weird coincidences, is she was born in Newton, North Carolina. I was born in Hickory, North Carolina. She was born in Catawba County. That's the county I was born in. I was just born in Hickory. She was born in Catawba. She was born at Catawba Memorial. I was born at Fry. But when I went crazy and had to go to the 7th floor psych ward, well, that's the hospital. I was in the hospital she was born in. That was the hospital she was born in, and I was on the 7th floor. And she has a song about being in the 7th grade, running after Billy, like Billy Goat. And so that was a really weird thing, too, later in life, like this recent last year. Like, wow, maybe that's crazy, but then there's more. Okay, so she had a brother and a sister. She was born in North Carolina, Newton. Her dad was a minister, a Methodist preacher, and she was the baby of the 3. And her older brother Mike, when I went to rehab in like 2003 for crack, I went to a private rehab in Winston, and it was like $11,000 rehab, but my mom was a state employee, so Blue Cross Blue Shield paid for like all of it with $3,000. Well, you're not allowed to use your last names there, so you put your name tag always said your first name and your last name's initial. There was a man in there named Mike A, and I don't even know how the other people found out because you weren't supposed to talk about it. Like, I don't know how they found out, but this guy that was in there, he came up to me and he told me that it was her brother. And I don't know how he knew, but I was like, don't fuck with me. I was like, I will go over there and ask that man for real. And he said it was true. I don't know how he knew it. I walked right over there to the man. And I asked him using her real name. Her real name's Myra Ellen Amos. So I asked him if that was his sister, and he said yes. And I just started crying, and I looked at his face, and he looked just like the man in the unauthorized biography, but like he was young. And he was in there for alcoholism, and he'd been in there before. And the funny part is he was an anesthesiologist, so he was able to sign himself out of the 30-day program early and still get the medical release, you know. And that's what he always did. He'd always go in for a little while and sign himself out and then go get drunk. But he died a year after rehab in 2003 or 4 in a wreck, and I just now found that out because I was doing a video about her and showing my NA book. I hate NA, it's stupid. He signed it, and he gave me his phone number, but I didn't know he died. I looked him up a month or so ago and found out that he died. So I was in rehab with her brother, and I got my mom to bring a pillow I made in 12th grade. A pillow, isn't that funny? She knows where the pillows go. She sings about pillows like Jonathan Clark talks about. And I made her a pillow in 12th grade. This is crazy, but I guess it was all meant to be. And so I gave it to her brother, and he said he would send it to her. And then she's got a song from Under the Pink, her second album from 94. Boys for Pele came out in 96. She sang about Robin on Boys for Pele in 2 songs. 2 separate songs. And there's a song on there, too, though, that he knows about. And I need to know how he knows about the sheriff. When he did that video about the sheriff, he's talking about the sheriff. I need to know how you and Tori know about the sheriff. I need to know. How did you know it was called sheriff? I mean, I could figure how she might know about the sheriff. Somebody maybe told her or taught her. I don't know how Robin knows. But I'll show you why in a minute. And so, where was I going? What was that? I was talking about the song. Okay, on the second album, it was Under the Pink, and it was the song The Wrong Band, and I take that as like the wrong frequency band or something like that. She sings about me. She sings my name specifically, and it's really cool, and I'll play it in a minute, but okay. So I'm just going to go over the lyrics to the songs that sing about me and sing about Robin. And if it's not directly about Robin, it could, you'll see why. Here, I'm going to, well, I'll show you real quick while I've got this out here, why I need to know about the sheriff. It's a song, this is not from the album. This is a Strange Little Girls album. I went to that concert too, and this is the program. But for the calendar, because in this album, she covered all men's songs. All the songs that were written by men on her album, she covered them. And she did a different girl for each song. Well, it was 12 songs, 12 months of the year. And she had somebody do her makeup and stuff, make her look different, like for every month. But she looks kind of like a sheriff right here, and she sings specifically about what Robin was talking about today, sheriffs, and yeah, it's crazy. I think he said the sheriff to Jesus, maybe. That makes sense, though, with the song. I'll show you why. Anyway, I need to know. I need to know about the sheriff. I need to know, Robin, who told you about the sheriff? I meant to say in the beginning, too, when I was 15, like I said, I didn't know what any of her lyrics meant, and I stopped listening to her for like 10 or more years. I never listened to her again, never picked it up, a song of hers ever again. And something happened when I was kind of waking up and going through this thing about 3 years ago when it first started to get heavy, like with the etymologies and you know, just all the little epiphanies that you get when, you know, you get clever with the etymology and the words, and you kind of learn a lot because you start to notice the same stuff in all the songs. But when I realized what she was singing about, and I went back and I started picking it up, I picked her stuff up and started listening to it again. Oh God, it made it even more amazing. Like it like kicked that spirit into gear, and I started realizing, okay, she knows something, and she knows what it is, and I'm understanding a lot of what she's writing at that point. And, you know, it's been 10 years since I listened to it, and I was like, oh my God, that's what that means. This stuff is not abstract, you know, this stuff is seriously real. Like, this is the stuff she's singing about. It's like, it means what it means, and I know what it means, sort of, some of it. And so I knew most of one of her songs. Yeah, I knew in my heart all of the first 3 albums, so I know what she's talking about all the time as far as the spiritual meaning of decoding it in that language. But what I did was I just kept listening to her old music over and over again, and when I would run across, and it helped me to kind of see where I was at as far as like knowing how they speak and how it goes with the symbology. It let me know that I was, you know, how far I'd gotten, and I would go back and whatever she sang about that I didn't understand, the things that she, in the words of the lyrics that I didn't really understand, I would go back and I would research that stuff, and it would help. But so, I mean, that's kind of a good way to judge it. With all music you can hear, I can see the spirit in all of the entertainment, but I can see it in the music especially. But like rap is different. That's different stuff. This is, I don't know. It's like I don't know where the woman fits in any of this. All my stories I watch are men, except for two women. They're a mom and a daughter, and they do a channel together. And they're the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind. And these two ladies admit that they say that they're host lives, they're host bodies. They know they're host bodies, and they know, I guess, what the woman's supposed to do. I don't really. And it sounds like with Tori Amos and her lyrics and stuff, you know, she knows what she is too. So maybe, I mean, it helps me to fit in somewhere with this whole thing as a woman. So anyway, here's the song with the wrong band. And I think it's perfectly clear we're in the wrong band. Ginger is always sincere, just not to one man. She called me up and she said, you know that I'm drowning. It's the damn dog trainer again. You know who that is. The little G-God trainer. Is that father? He says she needs more hands. Why? So that she can be like walking like an Egyptian, like walking with one hand out in front, one hand out in the back. And then she thinks it's perfectly clear. She sings about Senator's blood too. And so she sings on and on. She calls Ginger, and then she talks to the senator. And then she gets her cigars from a sweet fat man. And now here's my part. I think it's perfectly clear we're in the wrong band. And I don't know if that's a frequency band or a color band or a musical band or a band of soul groups. I don't know. Heidi says she'll be sincere, and I will be as much as I can. And you'll notice that they called her up, like Ginger up here. Ginger called up Tori. She was talking to the senator. Well, Tori calls me up. She says, Heidi says she'll be sincere as much as she can. I called her up and I said, you know that I'm drowning. And I could save her from drowning because I was a competitive swimmer in high school and middle school. And I was pretty good. So put on your raincoat again. And yeah, I better. I need an umbrella. Because even the sun's got a price on it. And there's something believing in her voice. There is something believing in my voice again. There's something believing instead of just leaving. And then I told Tori that it was time to open her eyes, and don't be afraid to open your eyes. Maybe she's right. I am right, I think. I feel like I am. So, yeah, that's that one. And I'll play the little part, just the music, though. I don't want another fucking not visible weird thing to my channel because I don't even monetize, but I'll play the song.
I think it's perfectly clear we're in the wrong band. Heidi says she'll be sincere as much as she can. I called her up and I said, you know that I'm drowning. I put on your raincoat again, 'cause even the sun's got a price on it, and there's something believing in her voice again. Said there's something believing instead of just sleep.
My strong, mighty strong delusions. This is not real. It couldn't be just all coinky dinks. So here's Tallulah for Boys for Pele. And this song was on the soundtrack of the movie Tornado. And this is the one where she sings about Robin, but she doesn't say it. She uses his middle name. And I know it could be Henry like as a king. But you know what? Even if it's not him specifically, I consider her music the soundtrack to my life, and it's manifested in her music. So it's my life that this song is about. And he would be in it. So here's the part where she talks about Henry. Say goodbye to the old world. Ran into the henchman who servered and boiling. He did it right quickly, a merciful man. She said 1 + 1 is 2, but Henry said it was 3, so it was, and here I am. So there's Henry there. He's there. Oh, she says, she mentions it again. She mentions Big Bird in here, and that's where I heard that the other day. And I was like, Big Bird, that's Robin. He's a big bird. He's got the big drip. So in Jamaica, do you know what I've done? Mary M is weaving on. Said what you want is in the blood, senators. Yeah, and the presidents too. She's got Big Bird on the fishing line with a bit of a shout and a bit of an angry snout. Well, he is my favorite hooker of the whole bunch. He is. He's my favorite story of the whole bunch. And I don't know about his only bride, but I know about... It's talking about Henry, but maybe Henry is Jesus. I don't know. I don't know. But it's just strange that it's Henry. Okay, so I'll play that part so you can hear her talk about Henry. And I'll go to the next one.
Ran into the henchman that silvered and golden. He did it right quickly, a merciful man. She said 1 + 1 is 2, but Henry said that it was 3, so it was here I am. Dulula, dulula, I don't want to lose you. There must be worth losing if it is. I got Big Bird on the fishing line, a bit of a shout, a bit of a shout, a bit of a angry snout. He's my favorite hooker of the whole bunch, and I know about his only bride and how the Russians die on the ice. I got my red hat on, honey, but I always could accessorize.
It's about robins. It's called sugar. And I don't want somebody to tell me what is sugar. I know what milk and honey is, but what does sugar mean? This one's a good one. This was a B-side. She could take 25 minutes out of the record books. Sugar, he brings me sugar. And Bobby's, who's Bobby? He's collecting bees and hammers like John was. He used one on me. You better not use your hammer on me, John was. In Cold War with little boys. I want to get in with y'all's bubblegum trade. Come on, let me. So I know the robins they bring me many things, but sugar. Where is the sugar? I want to know what that is, and somebody needs to tell me. And as far as I can tell, I have been gone for miles now. But yes, robins bring me many things. Robins, I know they're in witchcraft because I showed what they were in that book I got from the library about Appalachian witchcraft, and about how robins were there to protect you. And, you know, the big bird, he's got a robin big red breast. So, yeah, the robins do bring many things. And what's so bad about that? What's wrong with the birds? What's particularly about robins? I mean, damn, he is a mockingbird, and he will mock people, but he don't mock people much here lately, unless he's provoked or he sees the need. He needs to do it. And he needed to do it earlier, Mr. Wise. If you watch this one, he got you. He bit you. He lashed you. He had to. You made him do it. You provoked him. Don't provoke birds, and maybe you won't get bit by birds. Anyway, next will be the song about the sheriff, and this is very important because I'm not going to leave Robin alone until he tells me. I want to know where you heard the sheriff story, and if he really just come up with the sheriff out of his own head, well, isn't that special? That's just real coincidental, isn't it? That, well, Tori Amos knows about a sheriff. And Robin, he just knows about a sheriff. And I know about the sheriff. I just don't know about the sheriff. Like, who the hell made the story about the sheriff? And the sheriff's either Jesus or God, I think Robin said. And that makes sense because you see in the lyrics why.
Cool morning, little boys, get in with the bubblegum trade.
Okay, this is Little Amsterdam with the sheriff. Little Amsterdam in a southern town. Hominy, get it on the plate, girl. Mama, and I'm okay. If the sheriff's Jesus, then would Mama be Mary? Yeah, okay. Mama, keep your head down. Mama, it wasn't my bullet. Don't take me back to the range. Is that the frequency range, or is that like the cowboy range? What is that? I'm just coming out of the cell in my brain. Is that the cell in your Bluetooth pit down there that you have? Jonathan Click's talking about. Yeah, don't take me back to the range. And it says, girl, you've got to know these days which side you're on, and I don't know which side I'm on. I don't know. I need to choose, I guess. I need to figure out. I need to be on the woman's side, apparently. I guess I need to be what are the women? The women are snakes. Snakes, or we locusts. Whatever makes them pillows fly. Makes the man's pillow fly. He knows where the pillow goes. And Mama got shit because she loved a brown man. Who's the brown man? Is that Mr. Suntan, Mr. Satan, Mr. Satan? She loved brown man, Satan. She built a bridge in the sheriff's bed. Okay, well, the bed is a body. That'd be Jesus' body then? I don't know, but I know what a bridge is. Well, I know what the Frost Bridge is, Rainbow Bridge, Temporal Bridge. What other bridge do I need to know about, Robin? She'd do anything to save that man, and her olives are cold pressed. Well, I know about the olives. I don't know about Jesus and the olive tree, but what does cold pressed mean? I don't know. And her best friend is a sundress, but Mom, it was my bullet. Now, Father, only you can save my soul, and playing that organ must count for something. Well, her dad was a preacher, and he maybe played the organ, but like playing an organ could be like playing a body, like organs. And girl, you got to know these days which side you're on. And Little Amsterdam shut down today, and they buried her with a butterbean bouquet, whatever that is. And the sheriff now, it says can't. I thought she said can right away. Well, it says the sheriff now can't right away, like he said, into the sunset. So he couldn't like he said he was going to. Why can't he? Tell me why he can't right away. Because Little Amsterdam shut down? I don't get it. Somebody needs to decode that for me. And I won't say that he shouldn't have paid, but Mom, it wasn't my bullet. And I see this pay thing. I learned this off of Quartz Crystal Channel too. I've been listening to her talk about it. She says outside of this secondary matrix we're in, the primary matrix where our biological bodies are, she says, now I'm not saying this is true or anything, I'm just saying it's an explanation that I've heard that seems to match up with some other places I've heard different explanations. And she said in the primary matrix, outside of the secondary matrix, where our bodies are hooked up to the matrix, where they do the cloning when you have orgasms and all that nasty stuff, that there are people over there that, like, they pay to play this game. She said pay to play. They pay to play. And I heard something else about paying. They pay. Why are there some people on the outside matrix, the outside of the secondary matrix, why are they paying to play? And how do you pay to play? And what does that even mean? Like, she won't say he shouldn't have paid. He shouldn't have paid. What does that mean? Like, that he shouldn't have paid. Anyway, I didn't know about the sheriff. I just was wondering where the hell Robin heard the story about the sheriff, or if he just come up with it, if it just come out of him, like sometimes things do, obviously, like this music here that I've listened to since I was 15 that I don't even know why I ever liked it or listened to it. Well, I know now. I needed it, apparently, because it's taught me a lot, apparently. I mean, there's something that she knows and others know that are in the music industry, and I know it. I just wish I could know what it was called. And which side I'm supposed to be on, I don't know. But anyway, maybe she was thinking about Robin. Maybe it is just a strong delusion. Maybe it's not me either. But I'm not any kind of a symbolic name or any kind of a person in history like Henry or King Henry could be, or a Robin Bird, Red Robin Bird. I'm Heidi. We were born like we shot our little exes right here close. I was in the hospital that she was birthed in on the 7th floor psych ward. Jeez, it seems like it's just manifesting like crazy here these last 4 days. I'm enjoying it this time. I've kind of been fasting in a way. I've been eating a lot less, because it all started with my stomach kind of messing up at the beginning of the week or so. And I didn't eat very much like for 2 days. And once you get past that 2-day hump, then it's a little easier not to eat as much. I would call what I'm doing like intermediate fasting. Like I go probably about 8 hours without eating and then eat a little bit, just a bite or two, and drink a lot of water. And don't eat meat. I need to lay off those poor fish though. I don't know, I gotta quit eating fish. But it's definitely raised my vibration and my connection to God a lot. Just not eating red meat or chicken or pork. And being chaste. Hell, I was already chaste to begin with anyway, but pretty much chaste before I found out about well, I already knew about chasing away. I already knew that you weren't, that some say it's not good to have orgasms, and I know why. And they knew, and I know why, because they told why. I mean, I know all the reasons they say. I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just saying that I know. I don't know, but it does, he's raised it up. I mean, I've been hearing him, like, we've been talking. Obviously, he's been leading me around to do things, because it seems like all the stories that I watched these past few days have been saying things that I've been thinking, or hearing, or seeing. I like it this time. It's a little bit easier to handle. But just to think that, could we all be reading each other's minds? Or am I just crazy? Because, I am just schizophrenic. So, anyway, this video's going to be way too long and nobody's going to pay attention to it. So, yeah, John Wise, you are right about that. So, go on too long, nobody's going to listen. Unless they're required to listen like me. And I'm only required to listen because I say I am. I don't have an agent or a boss. I'm my own boss, I guess. I appointed myself as the watcher of my stories, and that's what I do. So I do watch through all of it, and I listen to them, and even the long ones. Rob does a long one. Like I say, I don't sit and stare at the TV the whole time, or I might sit the whole time, but I don't look at the TV the whole time. I listen a lot when they're long, but I do try my best to watch them when they're long all the way. I mean, I do let them play all the way, but I don't always. I go in and out, but I get it when it's important, and I do watch, and so don't think that anybody pointed me to. I pointed me to, and I think that God's telling me yes. I wish God would just tell me what I'm supposed to do since I'm a female. Like, is there something, I have a feeling there's something different that happens to females on the other side that happens to males. ABA Bloodline says that every woman here with negative blood is a man on the inside, really. There you go, absentee mail-in ballot, but... And then some, like Jonathan Click, the woman's the bad one. She uses the men to make her pillows fly. Well, okay, I understand that. And Tori Amos talks about pillows and where they go, so I know that. And we all know about pillows. I hear it all the time. Mattresses, pillows, and beds. So, I like to know what the difference is. That's what I would like to know. Just the difference. And what happens to a man and what happens to a woman. Something about an island, pineapple tree. The woman's the water that surrounds the island. I don't know, but I'm getting scared because... I don't want to. I know that in the old, the old Dead Sea Scrolls, the books of the Bible that aren't like the Book of Thomas, the Book of Mary Magdalene, the Book of Secret Sayings of Jesus and stuff. One of them says that a woman has to make herself into a man to be accepted in the kingdom of God. I don't know, but anyways, that's one thing I need to know. I need to know for sure. I really got to know for sure. So I've got to figure that out. What's the woman's role? What happens when the woman dies that's different from the man's role? And is somebody getting fucked over in this deal? That's what I want to know. Because some say yes with their explanations and some say no with theirs. Or some say the women are bad, and then I only have the two women that I watched. That I need to find more women. Tori Amos and the Glenn Life and the Jamie Bodymind are all I have. The rest of you are men. But you all are like a big bunch of stories that I like to call my stories. So, there we go. Goodbye.
Mama got a she loved a brown man. Then she built a bridge in the sheriff's she'd do anything to save her man. Something you've got to know these days. Little Amsterdam shut down today. They buried her with a butterbean bouquet, and the sheriff now can't ride away like he said into the sunset. And I won't say that he shouldn't have paid, but Mama, it wasn't my bullet.